on YouTube or TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you're finding us. We're on Mommy Ramblings blog on YouTube if you want to come over there. We're always live streaming over there, and we're streaming out to those other platforms. I apologize because my allergies are going berserk. So if I sneeze a lot, I'm going to mute the microphone. If you don't hear me for a minute, it's because I'm sneezing. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's dust or something in the area, because I was cleaning my craft room and moving a lot of stuff, and then I went for a walk. When I came back, I was sneezing like 30 times in a row, and then I took my allergy meds. I feel fine other than me sneezing and having to blow my nose every 5 minutes. So hang on a minute, because I'm going to sneeze again, and I'm just you'll hear a mute for a minute. Okay, I apologize. So tonight we have a lot to talk about. The poor Elijah Vue, the little boy who's been missing for months and months and months. Some people have him confused. I know Linda here thought he was missing at the same time Summer. Well, she's thinking of the little boy in Idaho. No, this Elijah has been missing. I don't even think it's been a year. In Wisconsin, we read about his mother's Facebook, and then he was saying remember that older guy, and that guy said he was standing by his bed. Remember, because he needed like discipline or something, and the kid, I think that's what he said. And then he said, that he dropped his other kid off from school, and when he came back, you know what I'm talking about. We'll go into it. But his remains were found at a Girl Scout camp. And then we're going to talk about two cases in Utah. One, a father's accused of murdering his corrections officer daughter. And another dad that was arrested by the SWAT team. He was holding 7 of his children captive hostages in a hotel. And then we're going to talk about the Georgia school shooter's mother, who called into the school with a warning and told them to go check on her son. What happened? Then we're going to talk about the manhunt for the Kentucky I-75 shooter. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the bombshell that Ryan Anderson has about Gypsy Rose. So let's get ready. Sorry. Okay, let's go and talk about Elijah Vue right now. Let's get the latest on Elijah Vue. I know a lot of you follow that case, and it seemed like they were never going to, if we had hoped that they would find him, and then now, we knew something terrible had happened. So, the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office is investigating human skeletal remains that were found on private property in the town of Two Rivers on Saturday. The Sheriff's Office said in a news release posted to Facebook Sunday evening, it was unable to confirm whether the remains were related to the case of 4-year-old Elijah Vue. The remains were found by a local deer hunter who immediately notified law enforcement, the sheriff's office said, adding it to an ongoing investigation and determining the identity of the remains will be a lengthy process. No specific information. See, this doesn't make sense because they're saying in other reports that it was his remains. So I think they know something they're not saying, and this one, they just don't want to be releasing that. No specific information such as race, sex, or age of the remains was given, but the Post said the sheriff's office will be working with the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation. The Post said further updates will be provided as they become available. In an August 20th news release on the 6th month anniversary, so yeah, it hasn't even been a year, of Elijah Vue being reported missing, Two Rivers Police Captain Andrew Ratz warned that the spreading of false and misleading information is disrespectful to the family of Elijah and detracts from our efforts in locating him. Elijah was 3 years old when he was reported missing on February 20th. His 4th birthday was celebrated in his absence August 25th during a community event at the Kiwanis Park in Appleton. Elijah was reported missing February 20th by Jesse Vang, 39 of Two Rivers, the boyfriend of Elijah's mother, 31-year-old Katrina Bauer, who was at her Wisconsin Dells residence at the time. Vang told police the last time he saw Elijah was around 8 a.m. February 20th after Vang had ordered the 3-year-old to stand next to his bed and pray as a punishment. Bauer and Vang were both arrested in February shortly after Elijah's disappearance, and they were charged with child neglect. They remain in custody at the Manitowoc County Jail. Bauer is being held on a $15,000 cash bond, while Vang is being held on a $20,000 cash bond. The Wisconsin court system requires people to pay the full cash bail to be released from custody. Bauer has been charged with felony child neglect, misdemeanor child neglect involving another child, and misdemeanor charges of resisting or obstructing an officer. Her next court date is on October 22nd. Vang also faces neglect charges in relation to Elijah's disappearance. He's due in court for a status conference hearing on September 27th. Okay, now let's see here. Let's see something because I want to know why some okay. Hang on a minute. See, they are saying they're believing this is Elijah Vue, but now, and this is the first time they've ever done anything like this, they're confident Elijah Vue will be found. I don't know what broke. So why are some reporting it? Because Linda earlier today said they found his remains. Okay, so I'm going to change that until they confirm it. But I've never seen anything like this. Usually if they find remains that aren't, they're like, oh no, we've ruled that out. I think they're probably pretty confident, not only by the remains, but maybe because of some stuff they have found in evidence that this would be somewhere that he could be found. That's what I'm thinking. But just to be on the safe side, we'll say potentially found. That could potentially be Elijah Vue. Look, believe me, everybody wanted this little boy found alive. Everybody. And then as there was more and more evidence from the mother's phone and everything, and those pictures, it was getting to be that he was not going to be found alive. And then people just wanted to find him and have him put to rest, somewhere where he could be respected. And, it's just, not the outcome anybody wanted. Okay, now my computer is like freaking out. Hang on. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, here we go. Let me get back to... Did anybody hear about this Nikocado avocado? Kevin was making me look at that. Some guy that was like 411 pounds and came back and he's lost 250 pounds, but he was on YouTube the entire time and nobody knew that it was happening. Anybody? That's weird. I can't get that out of my head for a minute. Okay, let me see here. Trying to get back to my video so I can fix that. If I don't like... And I can't even find the live chat, so I don't know where that went. Where the heck did my video go? Oh, here it is. Okay. I don't know what is Mercury in retrograde or something, because my computer's been acting crazy today. Oh my goodness. I apologize. I can't get back to my live stream here. And if I can, I'll change it in a minute. I just don't like having... Linda. Linda. Okay, I cannot get back to my video, so I'm just going to go on with this, and I'll change it so they're potentially found. Okay, the SWAT team, the dad. You've got to love technology when it doesn't work. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to probably, you know what? I might have to grab my phone and work from my phone with you guys. If this is not going to let me jump on here, that's what I'm going to do. I didn't even get my thumbnail up. Tomorrow I'm interviewing someone tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So I haven't put the thumbnail up because my computer's being a jerk. But I'm getting my phone now and we're just going to work from the phone. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry about this. Sorry. We're going to get right on this. Let me just pull this up on my phone. SWAT team in Utah for the hostage of the 7 children. Okay. So a man was arrested. He was allegedly holding his 7 children hostage in a St. George, Utah Quality Inn, and he was threatening to hurt the kids. The officers of the St. George Police Department said that they were dispatched to the hotel late Saturday night on reports of a DV, domestic violence incident. Okay. And it says that approximately 11 p.m., St. George police received reports of a possible domestic violence incident at the Quality Inn on Bluff Street. According to the news release, officers found Jonathan Daisy and a woman allegedly in a physical fight, and they separated them. However, Jonathan got inside the hotel room and actively barricaded the door, where he refused to speak with officers. The police report said that Daisy was also actively holding their 7 children against their will in the hotel room, and that he allegedly threatened to harm them, so the SWAT team was dispatched. Daisy would not surrender, and the SWAT team made an energetic breach, accessing the room. Medical staff evaluated Daisy the woman and her children, and no injuries were reported. The children were released to the woman, who did not receive any charges. St. George police officer and public information officer Tiffany Mitchell told the St. George News. Daisy was cleared at the hospital and transported to jail. According to the release, he was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count each of kidnapping and unlawful detention, 7 counts of domestic violence in the presence of children, 1 count of disorderly conduct, 7 counts of child abuse, and a count each for obstruction and interfering and intoxication. Let's see. So we have that. Then we go again. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. I am sorry. Okay, let me go to our next story here. Still, let's see if my computer wants to work or it doesn't. Okay, it's gonna go over here. Let's see if it pulls this up. My computer screen is black. I hope that you're getting, I don't know, are you were in the same hotel in St. George? Okay, can you guys see a picture? Because I cannot see my computer. I don't know what the heck it's doing. I just want to go in here and change this title because I don't want to have the wrong title. That was not... Okay, let's put that there. Okay, here we are. Okay, let's just put this. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure that this is right because... There we go. Okay. So let's go to next. We're going to talk about the Utah father. We'll go right in line here, and then I'll change that thumbnail to say potentially found. Okay. So this, sorry, I'm working from my phone now because the computer is being a little jerk. I can't even see YouTube. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so the father of the obsessed father of a Utah sheriff's deputy who was found dead last month has been charged in her murder. He allegedly described as an unforgivable sin before stealing his twin brother's ID to flee the country. Hector Ramon Martinez Ayala, 54 years old, was charged Friday after the body of his daughter, St. Lake County Sheriff's Deputy Maribela Martinez, was found in the family's Tooele home. I don't know if that's pronounced right. It's Tooele home on August 1st during a welfare check, and texts from the obsessed and controlling dad were more of the nature of a jealous lover than a father, investigators said. Wow. That's crazy. She was stalked by her father, they're saying. Martinez has started working as a corrections officer with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office in January. The department has memorialized her in a Facebook post noting that her death was being investigated as suspicious. She had lived with her father in Tual, west of Salt Lake City, until her father's escalating series of obsessive texting, surveillance, and stalking drove her to move into a hotel for a few days. The charges allege the stalking behavior had gone on for months, and that the text messages from the defendant to the victim are more the nature of a jealous lover than a father. Martinez also found a bag of her underwear in his room. Wow. Then in mid-July, he placed a tracking device on her vehicle while she was out of the country, and later used it to find her and a romantic interest out by a hiking area. When she returned to the house on the morning of July 31st, her father strangled her. Investigators say cameras on the property were quickly disabled and disconnected, but Martinez Ayala left plenty of digital footprints, including location data on his phone and his daughter's phone, as well as a text message to his brother that afternoon, saying, "My brother, you know how much I love you. I made a big mistake, an unforgivable sin, and now I'm too scared. I don't know what to do. I think I will never come back." He flew to California, then Texas, before his cell records stopped, prosecutors said. He was then filmed passing through customs in an undisclosed country where he used his brother's identification. Martinez's body was found on August 1st in her bedroom after police were called to do a welfare check. In addition to murder, Martinez Ayala is charged with felonies related to obstruction of justice, stealing a bank card, and stalking, as well as misdemeanor identity theft. Martinez Ayala does not have an attorney listed in the Utah online court records, and attempts to find alternate methods to contact him were unsuccessful. Wow, that's crazy. What the heck was that? That's some sick stuff. These people are really crazy. Okay. Next up, let's find out about this Georgia shooter's mother. This is something crazy. At first they were saying this lady, she wasn't involved at all, yada, yada, yada. Now she called the school to alert them. What happened? I don't know. This is nuts. Okay, let's see what's this about. The mother told relatives she reached out to the school on Wednesday morning, warning of an emergency. And that's according to the shooter's aunt. The mother told relatives that she had called the school on the morning of the attack, warning of an extreme emergency, her sister said. Officials said the suspect, Colt Gray, opened fire on Wednesday morning on the campus of the Appalachian High School in Winder, Georgia, that killed 2 students and 2 teachers and injured 9 others. The authorities say reports of a shooting came in at 10:20 a.m., but the suspect's mother, Marcy Gray, had apparently called the school at 9:50. That's according to her sister, Annie Brown. It was unclear what had led the mother to make the call. The emergence of the possible alert from the suspect's mother intensifies the scrutiny now that's applied to his family, school officials, law enforcement officials, about missed opportunities to heed the warning signs and intervene before the attack. Ms. Gray told Ms. Brown in a text message after the shooting that she had notified a counselor at the school. The phone call to the school was first reported on Saturday by the Washington Post, which cited Ms. Brown's text messages and a call log from the family's shared phone plan that documented a 10-minute call from the mother's number to the school. What the heck? Ms. Brown confirmed the details of the Post reporting to the New York Times on Saturday night, and a federal law enforcement official confirmed the mother had called the school shortly before the shooting. A spokesperson for the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which had been handling the investigation, declined to comment on Saturday. And Judd Smith, the sheriff for Barrow County, Georgia, where the shooting occurred, did not immediately reply to messages seeking a comment, nor did officials from the Barrow County school system. The FBI said hours after the shooting that it had referred a threat of a school shooting made online more than a year ago to a local sheriff's office, whose investigators traced it back to the suspect, who was then 13. At the time, in May of 2023, the suspect denied making the post in a chat room on Discord. Let's see. The sheriff's investigator from Jackson County, which neighbors Winders, and which were where the suspect and his family had previously lived, found they could not definitively link him to the post and ended the investigation. The sheriff's office said that it had informed the middle school in Jackson County that he attended, but the school officials there denied this week that they were told of the threat. During that investigation, the suspect's father, Colin Gray, described to a sheriff's deputy the turmoil rankling his son's life at home and at school. Mr. Gray, 54, has now been charged with murder and manslaughter in connection with the shooting because the authorities said that he was aware the suspect was a threat to himself and others and still allowed him to have access to the military-style rifle that was used in the attack. Mr. Gray had given his son the AR-15 semi-automatic rifle as a Christmas gift last year. The shooting took place roughly a month into the school year at Appalachia, where the suspect had just started his freshman year. In the months before the shooting, Ms. Brown said that her nephew had begged for mental help, contending that he had been deeply affected by the turbulence that had rocked him and his family in recent years. During the investigation into the previous threat, Mr. Gray told the sheriff's deputy that his son had struggled in school and that other students at one middle school in Jackson County just ridiculed him day after day after day. Mr. Gray said, according to a transcript of the interview obtained by the New York Times this week, the family had been evicted from their home. The parents were separated, with the suspect apparently living with his father in a new home and two younger siblings moving in with the mother at her parents' house in Fitzgerald, Georgia, which was several hours away. Ms. Gray pled guilty in December to charges of criminal damage to property and criminal trespass and family violence. She was ordered to pay damages to a construction company where Mr. Gray had worked and was forbidden from having any direct contact with her estranged husband, according to court records. She had also been arrested in November on suspicion of possessing small amounts of methamphetamine, fentanyl, and muscle relaxers, according to arrest warrants, but court records indicate that she was not charged with drug possession. Ms. Gray declined to talk when a reporter knocked on her door on Thursday. The next morning, the son and father made their initial appearance in court, sitting before the same judge, and the father had his appearance. The same judge told him that he could spend the rest of his life in prison. So, what the freak? She was on the phone for 10 minutes. So she called at 9:50, 10 minutes. It was still 10 o'clock, 20 minutes before the attack started. What in the world? Why didn't they do something? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. So, not sure what's up with that. Now we're going to go to the Kentucky Manhunt. If you're in Kentucky, or he could be anywhere by now, right? I know they found one gun, but he could have others. So The man suspected of injuring 5 people when he opened fire on Interstate 75 over the weekend has eluded capture for a second night, prompting many area schools to close Monday as law enforcement are warning the rural Kentucky community to take safety precautions. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has identified Joseph A. Couch, he's 32 years old, as the suspect. He's thought to have fired into 12 cars on the north and southbound lanes of the interstate on Saturday. Linda was wrong again on this because, Linda told me that this guy killed as many people as the school shooting, but thankfully I don't think he killed anybody, but he injured people. And that's scary, but Linda can't be our roving reporter anymore. Okay. Couch is still in the remote, densely wooded area near where his AR-15, ammunition, car, and possibly his phone were found. You need to lock your doors. If you have security cameras, make sure you're constantly watching them. Maybe keep your porch lights on, said the Kentucky State Police spokesperson Scotty Pennington. Have your cell phone and make sure your phones are charged up because you never know when you might have to contact someone or law enforcement. The shooting occurred around 5:30 p.m. Saturday, about 9 miles north of the city on London, Kentucky. It appeared to be a random act of violence. There were no fatalities, but some of the injuries were very severe. One victim was shot in the face, another in the chest. Some of the victims were critically hurt, but they are in stable condition. Thank goodness, right? The Kentucky State Police have taken command of the manhunt. Richard Dalrymple said Sunday night the FBI's Louisville office is seeking information on Couch's whereabouts. The search was paused Sunday night. It will resume Monday morning after 8 a.m. Safety concerns have prompted more than a dozen school districts and local private schools to cancel classes Monday, including districts in Laurel, Jackson, and Clay counties. Authorities described Couch of Woodbine, Kentucky, as a white man roughly 5'10", weighing 154 pounds. On Sunday afternoon, authorities found an AR-15 in a wooded area by the interstate, and they believe it was used in the shooting on Saturday. Law enforcement has not yet determined a motive in the attack. He was not in a vehicle. No, definitely not road rage. While authorities don't believe the gunman targeted specific people, the attack seemed to be a planned event. Couch has a minimal criminal history, but nothing of any significance or like the Saturday shooting. We want to get this guy because he shot at cars. He's shown that he's capable, and that means he's capable again. As authorities continue combing the heavily wooded, hilly area, the suspect couldn't have picked an area that is any more remote and difficult for us to try to locate him. Between 40 and 50 officers from federal, state, and local agencies are participating in the search. Law enforcement said Saturday they discovered a vehicle that was registered to the suspect on a Forest Service road off of exit 49 with an empty gun case inside. The vehicle was very near the interstate, but not close enough that a person of interest could have fired from that location. Authorities suspect he walked closer to the interstate, which is where they recovered the weapon, and they believe he may still be in possession of other weapons. They also recovered a phone, but the battery was removed. The fact that Couch left his rifle may indicate he has other weapons. At this point, we do not believe he has outside assistance. They later noted that it's extremely possible the suspect is using telecommunications in some way. He said the length of time the suspect is able to survive in the remote woods depends on his level of preparation, which is still unclear to authorities. He added it was possible he's no longer alive. That's what I think. For him to surrender the weapon and everything, I think he jumped off somewhere. I think I don't think he's alive anymore. Law enforcement has advised residents to remain vigilant, call 911 if they see Couch, and do not approach him. Let's see. Officers are expanding the search parameters. Authorities plan to shut down the search overnight, but will continue to keep the area contained before resuming in the morning. We really have to suspend it at dark because of the danger element of our guys being in there and maybe walking right up on this individual. It's very possible he's left the area, but not probable. The chance of Couch being able to get from the woods to a residence is very remote. The gun violence injected chaos into the Saturday commute just after a mass shooting left 4 people dead and 9 others injured at the high school in Winder, Georgia. Okay, let's see. What started out as a family day ended with a trip to the emergency room for one of the victims in the shooting, 28-year-old Rebecca Puryear. Her husband and 4-year-old son had spent the day in Lexington. They were on their way back to their home in Harlan, Kentucky, when they heard gunshots as they approached exit 49 and I-75. She said it sounded like a tire had blown. So I asked my husband, and he said it was gunshots. The next thing I know, my ears are ringing. I look over, she said, and she said her passenger side window is busted and there's a bullet hole. They continued driving for another 1.5 miles before pulling to a safer area. She made sure her husband and son were safe before realizing she had been shot. I looked down and she was just pouring blood. She said she kept it together because if I freaked out, they would have freaked out. They called 911, and she said that another ambulance was headed to assist other victims. I started fainting and going in and out, and he told me to get to his cruiser so he could take me to the hospital. She saw a bullet enter through the passenger side window and struck her right arm, penetrating her chest. Oh my gosh. Before exiting through her left arm. She was released from the hospital later that night, but will need surgery. Why did she get released then? Why did they give her the surgery? We're blessed that I'm still alive. I'm a walking miracle. It still does not feel real to me, even though I'm sitting here with gaping wounds. One woman who was driving on Interstate 75 with a friend described witnessing the shooting. We were just driving along, and all of a sudden it was like a rock went through my back window, and it hurt my ear, said Christina Denoto. It wasn't until about 1.5 hours later Denoto and her friend learned about the shooting and noticed what appeared to be paint scrapes on the back of their car. My hands are shaking, she said. She feels incredibly lucky. Wow. Okay, hold on. I'm going to blow my nose. Okay, so now we're going to go on and talk about Ryan. Okay? Let's see if this is going to be working now. I hope so. Believe. My thing. Just go here. Okay. All right, here we go. So Ryan Anderson drops a bombshell, and he said, I lost a job because of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Isn't it funny? We just told him to speak out and write a book, and then, okay. It's crazy. He says it wasn't long thereafter that Gypsy got back to... I'm sorry, he said 3 months after Gypsy Rose walked out of the Chillicothe Correctional Center, she packed up and moved out of her place with Ryan and headed straight back to her parents' home. And she has since filed for divorce from the special education teacher, and it wasn't long after that she got back to... It was not long at all. It was like right away with Ken Urker. They're now expecting their first child together. Following the big news, Ryan Anderson has been bombarded with questions about his relationship. And now he's spilling some tea and not holding back. He had a TikTok live where he was asked if the situation with Gypsy ever affected his career. And he said, I tell you what, in the Prison Confessions documentary, I did lose a job being with Gypsy. He said, and this I'm quoting to him, he said, honest to God, that's him saying that, it was a Christian school here in town, and they felt like I broke the honor code by being with Gypsy. He added, it was one of those where that was the reason I got let go. Ryan and Gypsy's romance kicked off after he wrote a letter to her in prison. So he said, so he dropped that. So he's starting to drop little things. He described Gypsy, who went into prison, as someone who was very lost and confused. Now she's a little bit more wise, has a little bit more experience under her belt, and is still very hopeful for the future. Oh, that... Hold on a minute. Oh, she said that about herself. Oh, that was Gypsy. And then she said, I think there's a sense of freedom of following your heart, following what you feel like is right for you. In my marriage to Ryan, I felt like a part of me was lost in it. And so I feel like I found that missing piece of myself that I always felt was lost. And now I'm reclaiming that back. I definitely feel a sense of belonging in that space. It's heartbreaking because no one gets married to get a divorce. Oh boy. She says about her pregnancy, this was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected. But we're both excited to take on this new journey of parenthood. So he lost a job at a Christian school. And I guess he's just starting to drop those bombs. Go ahead, Ryan. We told you. Just write that book. Go ahead. They're making a mockery of everything. You might as well just capitalize, get your 15 minutes, get everything you can on that. Keep going. Keep going. Tell us why you called her violent. Tell us what she did that you called her violent. Because we know she scared Nick. She obviously scared you. She's having mood swings with Ken. So, yeah, come on, tell us. Tell us. Hey, Snow Bunny, how are you? Hi, Oliver. Does it matter? They come to your house. What? Your sneezes are cute. Oh, no. It's really, I have bad allergies, and it's like horrendous. You probably hear it in my voice. And I don't know why the Zyrtec usually really works, and it's like not. Hi, little lady. Hi, everybody there. Jip, your 50 minutes. Please, Ryan, write 2 books on your journey with Jip and the love letters. Yeah, tell us, Ryan. What are you worried about? She's going to tell, believe me. What are you worried about? Don't be worried about that at all. Just go. Drop it all. I just want to do one thing real quick before we go on. And I'm going to go on and tell you some more, check on some more stuff with Gypsy. But I just want to do something real fast. Did any of you find any more stuff with Amanda Bird? I wonder what, I still haven't. I did a Casey Anthony. Did you see that? She's with a 48-year-old dad now who's still married. Did you see that one? Okay, there, I just wanted to fix that. Linda's gonna get it. Okay, let me just fix this real quick. Linda, you in the chat? All right. I just want to change the thumbnail. How come I can't find the, here we go, okay. And it's, let me just set it this, and I'm going to do some more Gypsy Rose, hang on. I just want to change the thumbnail to that we're waiting on a positive, you know, we're waiting on an ID. Second. Okay, I've got it now. I'm going to go back to Gypsy Rose. Okay, done, save. Let me go back to Gypsy now. Gypsy. Okay. See what she's done today, because I've got to catch up myself. Okay, so by the way, I'm afraid of bugs. So somebody's talking about those text messages about being afraid of bugs. Remember? And that was because she was telling him, she wanted him to get him really upset that her mother made her sleep out on the porch with bugs, and she's so scared of them. That was another way she manipulated him to feel like really like very upset, like, oh my gosh, I told you I hated bugs and I can't take them, and she made me sleep on the porch with bugs. Right? Right. Let's see. People are trying to figure out her Jazz Fest dates and her pregnancy. Why is David Blanchard lying? Somebody said David Blanchard knew Gypsy could walk for a long time, yet he lied and acted shocked when he was told by police. Why would he act shocked when police told him that? Why would he say that he crawled through a window to get inside the house when he had a key to the front door? People that lie have something to hide. Let's see what this says. We need to see his police interview in its entirety. Apparently the key was to the back door, which is how they eventually entered, but not sure how they got the key. He definitely didn't come through a window like Spider-Man. He entered the house against police instruction, according to at least one police report, which is most odd about his claims. Well, let's see. Let's go see if we could find the police report about him entering the house. Let's see. Let me see here. I know we have read the police reports before. Where's my case book? Because I know I have that here. Hold on. Hold on, let me go into my files because I know I have it all downloaded. Should be right in here. Gypsy. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Got it. Got it. Just opening it up. And I'll pull it over there. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Why are we not at the beginning? Come on. Okay. Let me make this a little tiny. No, okay. All right, so let's see here, because this is from Hancock. This is the one that questioned Gypsy Rose. And they're talking about the Facebook. Okay, Aaliyah Woodmansey, that's one of the neighbors, who had been friends with Gypsy in the past, had information she wanted to share. Contact was made with Aaliyah, and she advised deputies about a Nicholas Godejohn, who Gypsy talked about a lot. Aaliyah had been communicating with Gypsy via Facebook in October of 2014 about Nicholas. In the Facebook messages, Gypsy talks about wanting to have a baby with Nicholas, and she wanted to name the baby Nicholas Paul Godejohn Jr. According to Aaliyah, the messages Gypsy sent indicated Nicholas had promised her they would get married, and Nicholas had been promising to meet her at the premiere of the movie Cinderella in March of 2015. Aaliyah was unable to remember what Gypsy's name was listed as on Facebook, but believed it to be Gypsy Rose. She has not talked to Gypsy or visited with Gypsy since October of 2014. Okay, so here's the... Hold on a minute. Hold on, I have to blow my nose real quick. Okay, sorry about that. On Monday, June 15th, contact was made with Gypsy and Nicholas. Okay, but where's the one about where's the neighbor? I know that it says it in these. Let's see, let's keep going. Okay, so do the Facebook post, a search warrant was issued. Okay, here it is. Who wrote this? Robertson. Okay, so Volunteer Way, that's their house in Missouri. Upon my arrival, Deputy Hughes spoke to the neighbors and friends on scene who knew the two alleged missing females. With Corporal Stewart and I checked the doors and windows of the residence for any indications of forced entry or foul play. Nothing was found as a result. However, while checking the east door of the residence, one of the neighbors, Charles Blanchard, Kimberly's husband, found an unlocked but closed window leading into the kitchen of the residence, and he went inside despite warnings not to. Moments later, he unlocked the front door and advised the two were not inside, and he did not see any apparent signs of a struggle. He was instructed to exit the residence, and this sounds like, okay, it sounds like the police were there when he entered the window. Okay? While Corporal Stewart and I checked the doors and windows of the residence for any indications of forced entry or foul play, nothing was found as a result. However, while checking an east door of the residence, one of the neighbors, Charles Blanchard, Kimberly's husband, found an unlocked but closed window. So they were there. They were there when this was found, leading into the kitchen of the residence, and he went inside despite warnings not to. Well, for crying out loud, guys, why are people lying about this and saying that, oh, he couldn't have gone through the window, he went through the door? They're saying they were there when he did this, that despite warnings not to, he went in to the residence. And he went inside despite warnings not to. Moments later, he unlocked the front door and advised the two were not inside. Now that doesn't even make sense. How did he not see Dee Dee? And he did not see any apparent signs of a struggle. He was instructed to exit the residence, and the residence was re-secured. It was learned that the window Charles found unlocked could not be secured due to malfunctioning window locks, not because of tampering. Okay, I'm going to go back to this now because why are some people spreading something completely different about this? What is up with that? You had heard the back door was wide open. Well, I don't know where you heard that. Here's the report right here. On a channel today, they were claiming that Nick had told Gyp. On a channel today, they were claiming Nick told that. Oh, come on. Where are they getting that from? Where, Oliver? This is getting crazy. There's the police report. They were there. And why are they calling him David when his name is Charles? It seems that maybe he went to hide something or make sure something wasn't being found. Something that would show him and Gypsy had some kind of relationship. But why are we getting that? I don't know. How old is this guy? I want to know where we're getting that from. But right there, it's telling you, like, some woman was on the other night saying all this stuff, that he couldn't fit through the window, yada, yada, yada. Hold on a minute. I don't get it. Let's see, I think there's even another officer. You think he went to the door next to the window, but they saw him. They saw him, they said, look. Okay, look. David Blanchard stated that he had formerly been involved in the running of VisionCon, a local science fiction and fantasy convention. David said in 2011, Gypsy had arranged to meet a man at VisionCon, and the man had convinced her to steal money from her mother's purse and run away with him. Her mother had been able to find out what was going on and prevent anything from happening. Okay. All of the windows and doors I checked did not show any signs of being tampered with, and the only window without any form of window tint on it was located on the northeast corner to the rear of the house. Upon looking through this small portion of the open drapes of the window, it appeared lights were on in the room, and there was a bed next to the window. I was unable to tell if anything was disturbed or if anyone was inside the room. Upon coming around the west side of the house, I contacted Deputy Robertson, who advised me he could not see any signs of windows being tampered with or forced entry. Upon arriving at the residence, Deputy Robertson and Hughes made contact with Kimberly, her husband Charles, and other friends and neighbors of the residence. While I walked around the residence, searching to see if I could see any signs of forced entry or a better vantage point to get a view in the residence. Okay, here we go. Here's some more about this, okay? Upon checking the resident's mailbox, I noticed there were several articles of mail with postmarks back as far back as 6/8. After reviewing the mail, I went to the rear of the residence and checked the window at the rear of the residence that allowed me any kind of view. Again, I could not see any signs of disturbance or if anyone was inside the room. While I was at the rear of the residence, I heard what sounded like something breaking around the corner of the east side of the house. I walked around the corner and seeing Deputy Robertson standing on the side of the deck, I asked what was going on. Deputy Robertson advised me that Charles, Kimberly, and their friends had pried open a window, wanting to go inside the residence. As I continued walking around the house, Kimberly asked if they could go into the residence and check. I informed her that would not be a good idea. We could not give her permission to do that. As I continued to walk to the front, I observed that Charles was already climbing through the window. Charles asked me if I would arrest him. I advised him that if the homeowner had not given him permission and wanted to press charges against him, if went in uninvited, he could face charges. That is when one of the neighbors and friends of the homeowner stated she wouldn't care, and Charles went inside. After a couple of minutes, Charles opened the front door and stated nobody was home, and he did not see any signs of trouble except for several wheelchairs being inside the residence. While standing in the front yard, I peered through the open front door and observed no signs of a disturbance. Seeing no signs of disturbance, I instructed Deputy Robertson to have Charles and anyone else inside to step out of the residence and secure the door. Okay. Christine says, I see the guy and the detective talking in a room. He was sitting in a chair. There's no way he got through the window. But do you see that? Why do you think Charles wanted in there so quickly and so badly? My question is, how did he not see that Dee Dee was murdered? How did he not see that? The cleaner on the floor. Did he not look? Did anybody ever ask him? Did anybody ever ask Charles, like, how did you go in there and not see this? Did you go past Dee Dee's room? You're so wrong, Christine says. What do you mean, Christine? I think he went. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what else we see, okay? I'm trying just to go where the different officers have their accounting of that, okay? That's the interview, okay? Quinn. Okay. This is Charles Goldhammer. I just don't understand. Why? I don't know why it's Gypsy. Oh, look at this. I received a DVD of Gypsy Blanchard's phone conversation from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department, Waukesha, Wisconsin, while she was incarcerated in their facility. The DVD was logged into evidence. I reviewed the conversation Gypsy had with her family. When Gypsy would speak to her family, she would call them by their relative relationships, such as aunt, uncle, etc. She told her family she could not talk about what happened per her attorney. I heard Gypsy call the female she was talking to Aunt Celeste. Gypsy spoke of how she was innocent and how she got messed up with someone very awful. Gypsy told Aunt Celeste she wanted to live with her family in Louisiana when she gets released. Gypsy placed a phone call on June 22nd. Gypsy was talking to a female called Christy. She told Christy she could not talk about what happened. Gypsy told Christy to tell her dad she was innocent, and she wanted to know if her dad still loved her. Gypsy told Christy the things which had been said on the news and the media were not true. Gypsy asked Christy if she got out of jail, could she come and live with her. Gypsy placed a phone call to a number, and Gypsy started talking to Christy, and then a male got on the phone, who she called Daddy. During the investigation, it was discovered Rod Blanchard was Gypsy's biological dad. Gypsy said her dad talked about what jail was like, and if Gypsy knew when she was going to be extradited to Springfield, Missouri. Gypsy's dad told her that he cared and loved her, but he was very confused and he had a lot of questions. Gypsy would not talk about the case with her dad. Gypsy talked about how she wanted to build a relationship with her dad, and she told him she wanted him to know she was innocent. Then she had another phone call, and when the call was reviewed, the female's voice did not sound like Gypsy's voice. It was the voice of an unknown female who was talking to an unknown male about how to get bailed out of the Waukesha County Sheriff's Office. There was nothing of evidentiary value. Okay. While reviewing Greene County Justice Center jail calls from Gypsy, I heard her and another female talking about Nicholas. Gypsy made a statement to the female, an unknown female's name. I never asked him to be that gruesome, referring to Nicholas killing Claudinia. In another phone conversation, Gypsy made a statement referring about Claudinia. I was desperate to get away, referring to getting away from her mother. The caller's identification showed the number to be blah, 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 as the name on the caller identification showed to be a Rod Blanchard. The call was placed by Gypsy on June 24th. Okay, so he looked to be about 250 pounds. Did you just hear me read all that? I wasn't on mute, was I? Hi, Tracy. I wasn't on mute. Did you hear me read that about those telephone calls? Can someone please tell me? Did you hear me reading those telephone calls? Please tell me. Hello? Did you hear me reading about those telephone calls? Debbie Do Scooter Chick. Did you hear me? You heard it. Okay, good. I thought I was on mute because I went to blow my nose and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, you heard me. Good. Okay, never mind. Never mind. What a time for my allergies to act up. This is crazy. I haven't had my allergies act up since the end of May. Thank goodness I found my medication, but it's not working as well as it did the end of May. All right. That was Gypsy. Gypsy was overwhelmed when she found out. Okay, what is this about? This is Officer Hancock. This is the guy that interviewed her. On August 3rd, 2015, I was contacted by the Greene County State's Office Correction Officer about a letter he had received from Gypsy to be mailed to a Rachel and Ray. Isn't that weird? Rachel Ray. Isn't that weird? Rachel and Ray Miller, corrections officer. Willis stated he was advised by Greene County Prosecuting Attorney Dan Patterson to have the letter turned over to me and logged into evidence. I obtained the letter from the corrections officer Willis and signed a chain of custody form. I reviewed the letter and then logged the letter into evidence. The letter was dated July 28, 2015 and contained information about how Gypsy was overwhelmed when she found out Rachel and Ray tried to write her a letter. She talked about how Nicholas was her ex-boyfriend and how the media is making her out to be a monster when my part was small in this. Yet she felt as though she was taking a lot of the blame for the murder. She stated in the letter, "Yes, I'm in trouble. I'm part of this horrible, tragic act." Gypsy talked about how her life with her mother was not what everyone thought it was. She talked about how she was not sick and she was very healthy. She claimed to not remember what had happened because of the medication she was on. She talked about the relationship she was building with her biological father and about how she would be able to stay with him when she got out of jail. The letter did not contain anything else pertinent to the homicide case. Interesting. Command with that. Oh, this is her letter. Dear Aunt Rachel, tears ran down once I saw you try to write me. It was overwhelming knowing you said that it was overwhelming knowing y'all think of me. I sadly was not able to read because it was sent back due to security, is she saying that, or secrecy? They are picky. It has been a no tape, no sticker, sealed letter with my number, name, and jail address. Please try and send it again. When I was arrested, something by my now ex-boyfriend, y'all are who I wanted to call first, but I don't remember your number, or I would have called right away. I don't even know where to begin to explain. It just start with I'm sorry. I feel like I owe you both an explanation and apology, because please know I'm not that evil, twisted monster the media is trying and succeeding in making me seem. Yes, I'm in trouble. I'm part of this terrible, tragic act, but everyone forgets I did not kill her. My ex did. And he even confessed my part was small in all this. Yes, I'm taking what seems a lot of heat for it. The media has even showed pics of me in a costume from last Halloween at a comic book girl from the Batman comics, but they showed this to make me look crazy, troubled, and evil, and I'm not. I know you must feel confused and maybe upset to understand. You all thought of me and my mom was this perfect little family, happy as can be, but behind closed doors, things were far from okay, and it was only getting worse. I tried running away twice and failed. I can't say it was always bad, but it wasn't what people thought. I'm sorry for not telling you. I something, but she said not to, and I always obeyed. Oh yes, she always obeyed. Yes, I always just obeyed. And there was something I didn't even know myself. My lawyer told me that I just turned 24 and I never was taking chemo. Then why'd you say it after you got out? If you knew you had never taken chemo, you blamed chemo for your teeth. My mom would shave my head bald. You knew that, Gypsy. So for years I thought I was dying of cancer, and I'm not. Thank God, I'm perfectly healthy. Most people think I hated her. That's why this happened. But that's not true. I loved her. What I hated is having my invisible fit case. Something of lies, secrets, and something. Many medications I was taking. Obviously, I had a bad reaction as a result. Something to passing. I didn't even something happened. But once they oh my gosh. But once they something at the I was something. Oh my gosh, you can't even read her writing. My life is in a something pieces wreck. I would need a miracle to see, but something in this worse situations, my blood family has something amazing support, and my dad is back in my life. As it turns out, Mom was keeping him from me and me from him. He would try and come see me, but she would tell him we're not home when he was something with all I have ever known. Gone and something to him. Find we are building something 24 years, not too late. He wants to take me home with him and my stepmom when I get out. I don't know when I will get out. We are something a year and a half away from something. The prosecutor may offer a plea deal sooner on a count of manslaughter, which something a sentence of 3 to 15 years. But right now we're taking it day by day. I'm out in general population with others. I'm something in there. Something is my favorite pastime, though I believe God is forsaken me. Is that what she said? I pray I don't know if y'all hate me or even what actually to do with me, but please write to me with your phone number so I can call. My lawyer, public defender's name is Mike Stanfield. If you have any questions, he can answer them as to the case, and maybe setting us up a visit so I can see y'all. I love you all so much. Please know I'm still the sweet girl who loves Disney princesses and kitties. I'm just lost right now. I think it says right now, with no map to guide me. Sending all my love, Gypsy Rose. P.S. Something. Oh boy, I can't even read that. And brought the promise ring, I heard, Christine. Gypsy promised to Ryan, not the other way, proposed to Ryan, not the other way around. Okay. That was when she Gypsy Rose Yahoo accounts. Okay. Nicholas is in interrogation. Okay, wait a second. Stephanie agreed to speak with me. I spoke to Stephanie. This is Stephanie is the biological mother. Okay, we've heard that. Okay. Emma Rose. Who's next? Mr. Cooper. A proffer with James Crippen. Who's he? He first began speaking about Nicholas Godejohn. He advised that Godejohn is a podmate of his and said they attend rec time together in the rec yard. He stated that Godejohn has been talking about his girlfriend, identified only as Gypsy, and he reportedly told Godejohn that Godejohn and Gypsy must really care about each other. He said Godejohn began confiding in him sometime around Thanksgiving, and in total, Crippen believed that the 3 or 4 conversations they had about the murder, he said the last conversation they had regarding the incident was approximately 2 weeks ago. Godejohn said he met Gypsy on the internet, but he did not know how or where on the internet they met. He said at some point the two decided to meet. Godejohn reportedly told Crippen that the decision was made for Godejohn to travel to Springfield, Missouri area where he would have to kill Gypsy's mother so that Gypsy could leave the area with him. Crippen said Godejohn told him the initial plan after killing Gypsy's mother was for Godejohn and Gypsy to travel to Louisiana to stay with family. Crippen believed Gypsy has family in the area, but Crippen wasn't positive. Crippen doesn't know when Godejohn arrived in Springfield area or exactly when Godejohn was from. He also didn't know how soon after arriving the murder occurred. Crippen said Godejohn began talking about what it was like to kill Gypsy's mother, and he said it made him feel good as he was stabbing her and said he would do it again if needed for Gypsy. Godejohn told Crippen Gypsy's mother kept fighting him as he was repeatedly stabbing her, and he reportedly kept telling her to stop fighting. Crippen wasn't positive of the exact words of Godejohn, but it was something like, "Death is calling to you, stop fighting." Crippen said the two would talk while walking laps together in the rec yard. I asked why they stopped talking, and he said it was because Mr. Godejohn was transferred to solitary confinement for writing on the walls in the rec yard. Godejohn was reportedly trying to write messages for Gypsy, who also uses the rec yard. I asked Crippen what the purpose of providing this information. He said hopefully to use it in his legal situation. I asked if it had anything else to do with Mr. Godejohn, and he said not that he could think of. After completing the interview, I searched CaseNet for Godejohn in Greene County, and I found one case filed for Nicholas Godejohn. The case filed was for a count of murder, armed criminal action, and the court case number was identified, nothing further. William Osborne. On June 14th, I was assigned to make contact with William Osborne, date of birth 3/23/71. I made contact with William, who said he'd like to meet me at the McDonald's. William told me he was a member of the Star Wars Club called MCIS, and Gypsy was a member of the Star Wars Club. William told me that he knew Gypsy and he wanted to talk to me in person. I made contact with William at the McDonald's. William stated that he was concerned about Gypsy and if her wheelchair was at the residence, that he feared something horrible had happened to her. William said that he contacted several of the MCIS and the 501 club members, and none of the members knew the whereabouts of Gypsy. and they were all concerned about her well-being. William was unable to give any other pertinent information about the whereabouts of Gypsy, and he told me he wanted to help in any way he could. I gave William a business card with my phone number and to call me if he discovered any other information. Okay, let's see. Okay, here there's when they found audio and video from Gypsy. It appears what looks like a black and colored jacket with a red wig, addressing it to Nicholas from Gypsy, calling him sir, and she states, "Hi sir, this is Ruby, and I'm making this video as an introduction video." Gypsy admits Ruby is the most evil side of her. Gypsy stated in this audio video she likes to get into trouble, and she's not sorry when she gets caught. Gypsy stated her caring was broken, and she was not scared of law enforcement, but she would be scared of Nicholas's evil side. Gypsy stated she would do anything with Nicholas, to include murder, and assault. Gypsy tells Nicholas if at any time a girl tried to become his girlfriend, she would kill them with pleasure. And there would be lots of gore and blood. I thought she was squeamish. Forgot about this. Gypsy said that if a girl was trying to get with Nicholas for sex, she might allow it. But if the girl tried to get with him as a girlfriend, she would kill her, and they could kill her together. Gypsy goes on to say if it were family members murdered, she would not be so brutal, and she would have to step back and let him handle it. Gypsy stated she would allow Nicholas to R her anytime he wanted to, but not physically assault her, but she was okay with rough S and RS sex. Gypsy talked about the romantic side of Ruby and how Ruby was not touchy-feely. However, Kitty, Candy, and Bella were the romantic sides of her. Gypsy stated in this audio and video that she was very good at stealing and talked about how they could steal bigger things together. Gypsy talked about how she was very good at planning things. Gypsy said she liked to cause mischief and mayhem, but Nicholas would have to put her in charge of all the planning. Gypsy stated she comes up with very, very bad ideas, and that she referred to her bad ideas as robbery, vandalism, and stealing vehicles. The remainder of the video, Gypsy talks about her and Nicholas bonding when they could finally be together. Other than the above-mentioned statements, there was nothing else of evidentiary value on the audio and video footage. Copy of the DVD was put in. Okay, let's see. That's how they arrived there. Okay. There was a plastic spray bottle in the hallway. There was a black ball cap in the hallway. Barney's stuffed animal was originally located on the bed, partially under the victim's head. However, it was moved and placed on the nightstand when the victim was examined. So the Barney was originally located on the bed, partially under the victim's head. Flowered pillow laying on the bottom left corner of the bed. Pink and color sheet at the foot of the bed with possible blood on it. Let's see here. Okay, so we covered over David Blanchard, right? Why did no one ask David how he didn't see anything when he went in? Can someone answer that, please? Could someone answer why David said he didn't see anything when he went in? What happened? How did he not see anything? Tell me how he didn't see anything. That's crazy. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay. Let me see something here. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Who is this? Okay, this is for who? Pending is the defendant's motion to suppress the statement which he made to officers following his arrest in Wisconsin. In support of that, the defendant contends that his arrest and detention by Wisconsin authorities was unlawful. When was this made? As such, he argues that any statement made following the arrest and detention should be suppressed. Defendant also contends that his statement to Greene County officers was involuntary and should be suppressed. The facts are not in dispute. In June of 2015, the Greene County Sheriff's Office began an investigation into the death of Claudinia Blanchard and the disappearance of Gypsy Blanchard. During the course of that investigation, the defendant was identified as a suspect, and the authorities obtained search warrants, which identified certain emails that traced to the defendant in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Okay, let's go this way. Defendant also contends that the statement made to law enforcement following his arrest was involuntary. Okay, that was what about that? Hang on a minute. Is this the book 1 of 2? This is 1 of 2. That's not good. Where's book 2? Hang on a second. All right, let's go to Nick Godejohn's appeal. Hold on a minute. Sorry, I had to blow my nose again. Allergies. Okay. Let's see here. Come on. His defense called on neuropsychologists to try and prove that Gypsy Blanchard, Dee Dee's daughter, put him up to the crime. She's said to be released. Okay. Okay. I know that petition. Okay, here it goes. This here. All right. His appeal was denied April 1st, 2024. It says, the statement does not constitute a formal opinion of this court. It is not uniformly available. It shall not be reported or otherwise used in unrelated cases before this or any other court. This statement shall be attached to any motion or for rehearing or application for transfer to the Supreme Court. Nicholas Paul Godejohn appeals the motion court's denial of his amended Rule 29.15 motion for post-conviction relief after an evidentiary hearing. In one point on appeal, he claims the motion court clearly erred in denying relief because he proved that he received ineffective assistance of counsel when his attorneys failed to investigate and present evidence from a qualified neuropsychologist who specialized in autism spectrum disorder to support his diminished capacity his diminished capacity defense. Because no prejudice resulted from that alleged failure, we affirm the motion court's denial of post-conviction relief. He met the victim's daughter through an internet dating site in October of 2012. They began a secret online romantic relationship because the victim controlled every aspect of her daughter's life and would not let her have a boyfriend. The daughter told him that the victim had forced her to pretend to be disabled in order to receive financial help and charity. By at least May 2014, Nick and the daughter had developed 3 different plans to get the daughter away from the victim such that they could be together. In March of 2015, the daughter paid for him to come to Springfield and meet with daughter and victim at the movies, with the hope that the victim would allow the daughter to date. The meeting did not go well, and the victim hated Nick from the moment they met. Nick and the victim then decided on a plan that would involve killing the victim. Excuse me. Killing the victim so that they could be together. In March of 2015, the daughter paid for Nick to come to Springfield and meet with the daughter and the victim at the movies with the hope that the victim would allow the daughter to date. The meeting did not go well, and the victim hated Nick from the moment they met. Nick and the victim then decided on a plan that involved killing the victim. Between May 27th and June 10th, the victim and Nick... That's not the victim. The daughter. I'm just going to use their names so it's easier, okay? Nick and Gypsy sent each other numerous electronic messages about Dee Dee, about killing Dee Dee. Nick traveled from his home in Wisconsin to Springfield, Missouri. Nick was texting Gypsy as he traveled, and he informed Gypsy when he arrived. On the night of the crime, Gypsy texted Nick and told him that Dee Dee had taken her sleeping pill. Lie. On June 10th, Nick texted Gypsy, informing her that he had arrived at her house, and he told her to go into the bathroom. After entering the victim's home, Dee Dee's home, and making sure that Gypsy was in the bathroom, Nick waited a minute, though thought about if he really wanted to do it, and then Nick then killed Dee Dee with a knife, and he and Gypsy traveled to Nick's home in Wisconsin. 4 days later, the authorities discovered Dee Dee's body and determined that she had died as a result of 14 stab wounds to her back. Okay. Even if we were to assume that Nick's trial counsel was ineffective for failing to call a neuropsychologist specializing in ASD, Nick failed to prove that he was prejudiced by that alleged failure. As the motion court correctly noted, the expert that Nick claimed should have been identified and presented at trial, Dr. Wasserman, did not testify at the evidentiary hearing that Nick's autism prevented him from deliberating or acting with cool reflection. Trial counsel is not deficient for failing to call a witness to provide an expert opinion on a subject about which the expert expresses no opinion. Nick's point is denied, and the motion court's denial of post-conviction relief is affirmed. Okay, so that, but I have something else. Hold on a minute. Wait a second. Oh, I can't. Tomorrow we'll watch the videos. I have some other videos that we're going to watch because they're going to be, it'll be too long. So let's go on with this right now. Get rid of this. Hold on. Okay. Let me see what this is here. That I already saw. All right. Trying to see if there's timeline. I want to see the stupid timeline. Come on. Don't tell me they're still doing this narrative. I thought that was a real newscast. Alright, let's go here. You ever see this picture of Gypsy? She looks so... Hold on, I'm trying to get this picture to show. I never saw this picture of her. I'm trying to get this over here so you can take a look at it. Again, once again, my computer is acting like a little jerk. Hold on a moment. Okay, here we go. Where's this guy in? Okay, let's see. As Gypsy got older, she became curious about life outside of her house. She would show interest in different boys. Asked her neighbor, "How do you kiss a boy?" I felt horrible about it. This is she talking about her mother. When me and her, this is Nick talking, in the hotel room, she kept on telling me, stop crying, there's no reason to cry. It was my idea, it wasn't yours. Oh, listen to that. She told him to stop crying, it was my idea, it wasn't yours. This was in an interview that John did with 2020 from jail. He said, Gypsy comforted me about it. I prayed once I got here. I tried to get her mother's soul to forgive me. He said he went through with the plan because he thought he wanted to protect Gypsy and rescue her from her mother. Wow, okay. Okay, moments after the mother was killed, the couple said they had sex on Gypsy's bed and later took a taxi cab back to go to John's motel. Gypsy said she was both excited and overwhelmed by the prospect of starting a new life. And she said, and I quote, "It would come in times of happiness, little spurts of happiness, but I would have breakdowns or I'd start crying, feeling remorse, guilt, and at the same time also missing her at the same time. Worry about what I just done. She's gone." Wow, okay. Okay, and again, Nick said he went through with the plan because he thought he wanted to protect Gypsy and rescue her from her mother. He said, I did what I did because I loved her. I really wanted a life with her. I really did. Gypsy said, that never crossed my mind. I honestly didn't think we were going to get caught. Okay, now here's something about David Blanchard again. Okay, so hang on 1 minute. Okay, it says David and Kim Blanchard said they rushed to Gypsy and Dee Dee's home. No one was answered the door, and they called the police. David noticed the kitchen window was unlocked and decided to crawl into the house. He said everything looked fine, but that Gypsy's 3 wheelchairs were still at the home. Now, that is about when I panicked, said Kim Blanchard. We have never, ever seen Gypsy not in a wheelchair. Let's see. People were shocked when Gypsy, supposedly a paraplegic, suffering from muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, leukemia, and confined to a wheelchair, was arrested and charged with killing her own mother. Godejohn was also arrested and charged with murder. My vision was still of this fragile little girl, and that was shattered, said Kim Blanchard. At Gypsy and Dee Dee's house, Mike Stanfield, Gypsy's public defender, uncovered shocking clues that he believed would help Gypsy's case. Inside a large linen closet, he found a large number of bottles and a variety of different medications. The organization of the medications, that was shocking to me, because in every other area of Dee Dee's life, it appeared there was no organization or cleanliness except when it came to these medications. And let me know from the very beginning that something here was seriously wrong. Okay. It was wrong because it turned out that not only could Gypsy walk, but she apparently never had cancer, epilepsy, or any of the other ailments. The only thing that I had wrong with me is I have a little bit of a lazy eye, not all the time, but I have better vision in my left eye than I do in my right eye, and that's it. Gypsy said she knew she could walk, but she was convinced by her mother to stay in a wheelchair. She said she wasn't even allowed to walk in their house. That's a lie. I was so young, so me looking up to her so much and just believing she knows best, I didn't question it. Oh, she always sounds like that. Oh, just the greatest little girl. He ordered me. Remember, like he ordered me to clean his hand, and I obeyed. My mother, I always obeyed. Yeah, come on. This is in her mind, okay? I didn't question it. It's sad because I think about all the times that I could have been walking around like a normal person, skating, riding bikes and stuff, and I've never done any of that. As Gypsy's father, Rod Blanchard, and his wife, Christy, poured through the documents recovered from Gypsy and Dee Dee's house, a clearer picture began to emerge. Yeah, let's make it Munchausen's by proxy, guys. They had been looking up foundations she could call and get help from, Rod Blanchard said. The foundations that helped Gypsy and Dee Dee and the ABC News contacted say they all believed Gypsy was sick when they made their donations. Based on documents recovered from Gypsy's house, it also appeared that on at least one occasion, Dee Dee forged a fake birth certificate for Gypsy, changed her birth date from 91 to 95 to make her younger and younger. There was a point when she stopped asking how old she was, Gypsy said, because her mom would get upset. It was a good span of time between, I want to say, 2001 to 2015 that I really wasn't sure of my age. Okay. State's office. Okay, let's see here. One of Gypsy's former neurologists, Dr. Bernardo Flasterstein, who examined Gypsy for muscular dystrophy and cerebral palsy when she was 14, said he immediately saw red flags. There was nothing there to support either. That kind of made me suspicious. He said his suspicion only grew when he told Dee Dee that Gypsy's prior diagnoses were wrong. The mother was not happy. She left the office in a storm, told my nurses, I don't know what I'm talking about. She's not coming back. Of Go to John, Gypsy said, I don't hate him. I feel sorry for him, and just that somebody could do something so heartless and not express remorse and not feel like he's responsible for it. He was very much like my mother in certain ways. Oh, isn't that what she said Ryan was? Isn't everybody ultimately like her mother? And I feel like I was trained my whole life to do as I was told. Oh, Gypsy, you're such a manipulator. Oh my gosh. He was remorseful. You weren't. Go to John said he too was upset about what happened. He claimed that once in jail he prayed for forgiveness from Gypsy's mother. All the planning she did, every bit of it. She pretty much willed the knife in my hand to commit the deed herself. She is the mastermind behind this entire thing, Go to John said. Though she is in prison, Gypsy said she couldn't be happier. And she's working on getting her GED. She admits not a day goes by when she doesn't miss her mother. All I could hope is that wherever she is, that she still loves me in some small way. And I want her to know that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Give me a break, Gypsy. Okay, so, hi, Rinda. Hi, how are you? Let me just see something over here. And I didn't. Okay, it says I'm live now. How did I just get there? Okay, I didn't close that page. Don't worry about it. Thank you for the gifter on TikTok. Appreciate that. Sure. Hi, Shemak, Pixie, Flamingo, Maureen, Brandy, Allie, Jennifer Harmon, Sarcastic Snark. Hi, Flamingo Lady. What am I reading? It was old interviews from back, I don't know when. Let me see what it was from. Where was I? It was an old interview back in, let's see when this was from. Back in 2018. Yep, 2018. Let's see. We got along so perfect, you know. I saw her as an angel that could do no wrong. Gypsy said that about her mother. She said she's freer in prison than when living with her mother because now I'm allowed to live like a normal woman. Gypsy said her mother didn't work, but the two were able to survive on Social Security and disability checks and food stamps, and Medicaid covered Gypsy's medical expenses. She said, later I found out my father was paying child support the whole time. Okay. And the whole time? The whole time. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go now because I'm going to get some rest. Hopefully my allergies will be better when I wake up. I've got to do a quick thumbnail for tomorrow. And so 2 o'clock, I have an interview with somebody that I think you'll like. It's a little bit different. So tune into that. Love you guys. God bless, and prayers. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.